Hello everybody, how you doing? And welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the very first and long-awaited MJB Talks segment. I'm Mikey, and I put the M in MJB. No, I know, I'm not using that. I'm never going to say that again. Right, well, thank you. I want to start by saying thank you so much for everybody for being so patient in waiting for this very first video. And I don't really feel like I need to explain why I'm doing this, but because, you know, if you're here watching, then obviously you've been waiting, you know why I'm doing it. But just for very, very quickly, for the benefit of those who probably aren't quite sure why I'm doing this, these segments are designed so that I can have a little bit of a chat, talk to you guys about stuff, and let you get to know me a little bit better. I mean, obviously, as a reactor, it's not really what everybody's here for, but, you know, you kind of want to get to know the person behind it all. You know, I feel like a lot of us have become friends through me doing this, and I just think it's a great opportunity for you guys to learn more about me and for me to yab on about stuff that I want to talk about. Because, again, during my reactions, I like to talk, you know. That's the reason why some of them are nearly an hour long. But, you know, all of that has a great response. Nobody has ever told me that I talk too much. And some of the stuff I've talked about during reactions have actually sparked good conversations. So that's why I want to do this. So, you know, here we are. And this is, of course, episode 1, and what we're going to be discussing today are my embarrassing, awkward, and oh shit moments. There have been quite a few. But yeah, and the reason this has taken so long is because I started straight away thinking about, you know, what I could possibly include, some of the stories I could tell. But it's been hard to narrow it down because, one, there's been so many, and two, there are stories where I've thought about telling them, and then I've thought, oh no, I'll save that because that'll be good for this topic that I might think about another day. So, you know, that's why there's been a bit of a delay in this. I've had to really narrow it down because I don't want to be retelling the same stories in different episodes because there'd be absolutely no point. You've heard them. There'd be nothing to come back for. But I've chosen a good couple for you today, and one of which I only decided on yesterday. It came right out of my latest still game reaction to the episode Wireless. So if you've seen that, you'll know roughly what I'm talking about. So yeah, thank you for joining me for this, and yeah, we're going to get straight into it. So we're going to start at the top of the list with an embarrassing moment. Again, like I said, there's been quite a few. I was going to tell one, but I feel like this one might appeal a bit more to Luke especially. Luke, if you're watching, thank you for joining on this different content type. But yeah, this first one, it goes right back to my teenage years when I was in secondary school. And because I hated PE. I loved it in primary school, don't get me wrong. You know, when you were just like playing dodgeball and stuck in the mud. I loved PE in primary school, but when I got to secondary school, not so much. Because I remember my very, very first PE lesson in secondary school. What they did was they had us line up outside and then run to the changing rooms when they shouted our surnames. Honestly, it was like being in the fucking army. And this is so horrible. I'm cringing just reliving this. I remember the PE teacher. It was a little Geordie bloke, and as far as I know, he's still there all these years later. I mean, I left school 15 years ago this year, and I think he's still there. And he shouted my surname, and I had to run. And all these lads, you know, outside the changing rooms, they were running like boys, you know. And you know, I can't explain it. The way they ran, it was like, yeah, you know, that's a boy running. That is. But me, as a child, I used to run on my tiptoes, and it was my turn to run, and I was so conscious about how I was running. I forgot how to run, and I swear to God, I must have looked like Phoebe from Friends. You know, I think I was just like that. Or worse, I was like that. Oh, which door is it again, sir? Oh, it was a nightmare. And they were laughing at me. Everybody was laughing at me. And then came the humiliation of getting changed. I mean, fair enough. You know, we were all 11 years old. It was year 7. First PE lesson of secondary school. And oh my days. Just so embarrassing. Oh my God, I hated it. And later PE lesson, we had to play football. Now, as everybody, a lot of you will know, I'm really, really trying. Because, you know, Luke's my best pal and football is his life. And I'm trying so hard to take an interest and join in that part of his life. So, you know, I'm still trying. But we had a PE lesson where we had to play football, and the it was just so awkward because what happened was we were split into teams, and my secondary school, I'm not kidding you, I mean, it's a nice school now. It looks private now to look at. It's not. But years ago, I swear to God, my school, it was like ghetto. I'm not kidding. It was disgusting. It was a hole when I was there. And we didn't have any, bibs or anything, no straps or anything to, tell you who was on whose team. We were put into teams, and we basically just had to remember. And I remember thinking, because there was a couple of lads in that PE lesson that during the course of that time I'd kind of made friends with, not to the point of like hanging out with, but like to the point where we'd sat together in other lessons, and we'd, like you do. And I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna try. I'm actually gonna make an effort. I could get into this. I'm really gonna, I'm gonna give it everything I've got. And so yeah, I tried to make a note of who was on my team, and I was like, yeah. And of course, I didn't know the rules. I had no idea. They were like defender, goalie, striker, and I was like, what? What's that? I can't remember what they said to me. But I remember we got through the first half of the game. I just, I'd taught myself to sort of run a bit more boyish. And I was jogging about, just keep away from the ball. Just pretend. And, we got through the first half. That was fine. Of course, it was only an hour-long PE lesson, so the first half was like 20 minutes. Quick half-time break, quick sip of water. We got back out on the pitch. And so somebody passed the ball to me, and I was like, oh my god. And there was all these other lads running towards me. I was like, oh! And I just started running, kicking this ball, dribbling it. I was like, oh my god, where am I going? Where am I going? And it was just it was fucking awful. And I remember getting closer and closer to the goal, and I was like, oh my god, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to do this. And the kid in goal, I'm not kidding you, the kid in goal was a bit fat, and he wasn't very fast. I mean, a couple of people had scored past him already. And I thought, oh my god, I'm going to score a goal. And I did. I blasted the ball, and I scored a goal. And of course, I actually felt, it was the first time in my life I ever felt into football. I was like, oh my god, I've got this rush. This is amazing. I've scored a goal. Yeah! And I'm running about off, and I had to jumping about like, yeah. And the rest go, oh, for fuck's sake. I thought, well, that's normal. That's what they do. And I looked at one of the ones that was like, oh, fuck, man. And I was like, I'm sure he's on my team. Come to think of it, I think the fat kid's on my team, and all. I'd gone and scored an own goal. My fucking god. Oh, honestly, yeah, scored an own goal. And I'm giving it all, celebratory, thinking, oh, I'm into this. I'm really into this now. And yeah, I was just berated by an entire team. Even the teacher was looking at me like that. No one told me that you swap sides after half time. No one told me that. It was like all these boys in the PE lesson just knew football. I didn't get that. I didn't know. I'd grown up in a house full of football, from a very young age. But yeah, no one told me. So in my defence, I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I didn't realise that you swap sides after half time. No one told me, and so, I'm not entirely to blame. But the walk back to the changing rooms from the bottom field was so awkward. We were all muddy, everyone stank. And people like walking past me, like shoving me like that, going, fucking idiot. Fucking, what are you doing? What are you fucking playing at? Fucking stupid or what? I was like, oh, sorry. I can't help it. No one told me. And yeah, that was absolutely mortifying. The rest of the school day was just, after that. Ugh, yeah, so yeah. That is another reason that I've been put off the sport. And it's another reason why I hated PE. But luckily, when I got to year 9, so I was like 13, my doctor signed me off from PE because we've been doing it in all weathers. Wind, rain, snow, ice. We were doing PE outside regardless, and it just wasn't doing very well for my chest. I've got heart problems. So my doctor and heart consultant wrote me a letter to the school saying that I was exempt from PE from then onwards. Which was great because it gave me, a couple of hours a week extra. I used to get to sit in the library and stuff, so I got to catch up on other work. So yeah, and I stayed warm and healthy, which is great, because it used to make me poorly to the point where I needed time off school. So I was missing out on other subjects for a subject that I didn't care about. So, it all worked out. Anyway, yeah, that's the top embarrassing moment that I could pick that might not work its way into another subject. So yeah, what are we on now? 10 minutes. Right, okay. So next is an awkward moment. And this is the one that I picked from based on yesterday's reaction to Still Game Wireless. And it comes from when I was a HCA at the hospital. I was a bank HCA. I worked on different wards all the time, different shifts, and got paid a shed load, basically. I gave it up later on because, it was irregular work. It was irregular hours. Some weeks were really busy and some weeks there was hardly anything. It was hard to make a living doing that, even at 17. And I got a job elsewhere. I worked for a call centre for one of the big entertainment companies. And, yeah, it was better money, better hours, guaranteed hours and everything. So, yeah, I left. But while I was there, I did really well because I wanted to go into nursing when I was younger. But then when I was in college and, we lost my dad and everything, I failed my exams. I didn't want to go to uni. I never wanted to go to uni, but I wanted to do nursing. It was weird. It was a weird time. But anyway, yeah. The closest thing I could get to nursing was working as an HCA in the hospital. And on this one occasion, before that, I was doing really well. I was really good at stuff. I love doing the blood pressure, OBS as they call it, observations, blood pressure, temperature, pulse. I love doing all that. I didn't mind getting my hands dirty, dealing with people that needed bedpans or helping to wash or go to the toilet. That was fine. Making beds, oh my God, I learned to make beds at breakneck speed. People would go home, 3 people would get discharged off a ward. And I'd do all the beds, and I'd go to the front desk to the head nurse, and I'd go, right, is there anything you want me to do now? And she went, well, you could go and make up those beds for those people that have been discharged. And I went, I've done them. She went, no, you haven't. I said, yes, I have. You can't have. You've not had enough time. I said, I've done it. I said, and I've wiped down all the surfaces. And she followed me through. She actually went through to check. She was like, oh, you actually have. Well done. Thank you. Well done. So, yeah. But, yeah. On this one occasion where it got really awkward, hospital wards have got side rooms, for people that aren't particularly well or that they've got, something that can be contagious. So they have to keep them separate from other patients. And I was doing the rounds. I was going and getting the dinner orders in. And I went to one of the side rooms, which was near the nurse's station. And I said, I'm just going to go and see what Mrs. A wants for a dinner. And they went, who? I said, Mrs. A, the lady in this side room here. And this nurse, I'm not joking, she was a bit of a bitch, actually. I'm not being funny. She was one of them where, she knew I was on the bank. She knew I was making good money. She didn't like me. And she went, oh, you poor boy. Oh, dear. Oh, he doesn't understand, does he? And I went, what? Said, it's not Mrs. A, she's got MRSA. And I went, oh. And it wasn't so much embarrassing because, well, why would it be? Chances are I wouldn't have to go back there again. I got to choose what wards I worked on, so if that ward had come up again, I didn't have to go back, so I wasn't embarrassed. But it was awkward because there were visitors around, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to look really, really stupid in front of all these hospital visitors. I'm going to look like I don't know what I'm doing. They're not going to ask me anything, so it was really awkward. I thought her name was Mrs. A. You like the song? Goodbye, Mr. A. I thought it was his wife. Honestly, it was so awkward, and because of that, I had to gown up. So it's just as well I noticed that someone was around and told them what I was doing. Because I would have gone in just as I am. You had to go in wearing like a plastic apron and gloves and a mask and a hairnet kind of thing. Because it's MRSA, you had to do it that way. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to go and see what Mrs. A wants for her dinner. Oh, my God, that was so awkward. So awkward. It was, So, yeah, not embarrassing, just plain awkward. So, yeah, that's that one. That's the story I was going to tell during Wireless. And, yeah. And now for an oh shit moment, just because I'm going to try and make this one a bit quicker. I might do a part 2 for this, I don't know, but we're on 14 minutes now, so yeah, that was my awkward moment. That was really awkward, and the rest of the shift, it dragged. Honestly, it fucking dragged. Well, it would, wouldn't it? You do something, make a silly mistake like that, it drags. Now again, we're coming up to the main oh shit moment now. Now, as a lot of you know from my various videos and stories, I used to work for one of the big supermarkets. Can't say which one because all I do is slag it off and I don't want to get done. But yeah, I started working there late 2013 and I started working there like late August, early September. And what I didn't realise was that working for a big supermarket like that was that you had Christmas parties. They didn't hire anywhere. It wasn't one of those prepaid open bar deals. It was just, they arranged somewhere for us all to go, and we all met up there for a bit of a Christmas do. And do you know, I can't remember where it was now. Somewhere in town. Can't remember. I'll have to look it up and mention it in a future video. But yeah, it was somewhere in town that I'd never been to before. And of course, I'm 19 years old. I work Christmas do with a lot of people that I've made friends with in the few months that I've been there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was. And I ended the night. It was just me and the lad that worked on, the cigarette lottery kiosk. He was a student, he was only there for a couple. He was the closest person to my age that was at this party, and we ended the night right. We both went to the toilet. We were just having a drink at the bar together. I was like, oh, and he was like, oh, I need a slash. I was like, oh, it's all right, I'll go as well. And we both went in and we just started chatting. We both did what we did. We washed our hands and we were sort of leaning up against sinks, just chatting about stuff. He was telling me about uni. I was telling him about all the jobs I'd had. Really nice lad. He was great. He was a great laugh. And we'd been in there for about half an hour. And I remember he had a watch on. He looked at his watch and went, oh, I better get back out there. I think everyone might be moving on soon because this bar was due to close at like 1. And we went out, and I'm not kidding you, the place was empty. And I mean empty. And then we found out where everybody else was. And me and this lad that I was chatting to, we got separated. He went and chatted to someone else that he knew, and I went and chatted to someone else that I knew. It's just what you do, isn't it? But yeah, there was a bit of an oh shit moment there because we didn't know where anybody had gone. And I didn't want to go home. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. But I'm not the type of person that goes somewhere on their own. He had other friends working there because he'd worked there longer than I had, and he wanted to go and find where they were. So it wasn't like I could say, Tim, oh, do you want to go on somewhere else? And we'll just, keep it the two of us. So yeah, we found where everybody was, and yeah, and the night continued. And at some point during this night, I vaguely remember chatting to somebody. And it was outside in the smoking area, and it wasn't a very well lit smoking area. And I remember I was chatting to somebody for ages, and I think I was calling people. I was saying how much I hated the job. Because I did, I worked in the car park. I worked at rallying up the trolleys, and I never had any help. I was out there single-handed. I worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, Sunday, because the shop closed at 4, every single trolley had to be accounted for at the front of the shop, and that was my responsibility. Nobody helped me, no one. And I was 19. I was about 6 stone wet through. It was really hard work, and I hated it. Kept trying to move on. I tried to go on to checkouts permanently. There was an opening in bakery. There was even an opening in petrol. I did a lot of overtime in the petrol station, and the crew in there absolutely loved me, and they said they wanted me in there permanently. But the stupid fucking bastard store manager wouldn't let me. He kept saying, oh no, we can't afford to lose you off the car park. And I said, well, why don't you hire somebody else? He said, well, you do such a good job, don't you? And you don't complain. I thought, oh, fuck, here we go. So yeah, I was chatting to somebody outside. Couldn't really tell who it was. And I was drinking. Obviously, I was drinking something. I think it was like brandy and coke or something. After several pints and shots and a couple of cocktails. And yeah, I was absolutely twatted. And I don't remember the latter half of this conversation. And I went home a couple of hours later. It was about 3 in the morning. Went home, got in bed, just as you do. Woke up the next day. My head was splitting in 2. And for some reason, I woke up in my work jacket. My uniform, my jacket. I woke up wearing that in bed. Don't ask me why. And I sat up in bed and I had all these like text messages and stuff. And, like you do, you've been out with the group. A few people going, oh, where have you gone home? Oh, I hope you're okay. Did you have a good time last night? And I sat up in bed. My mouth was like the Sahara. And my head was splitting. My legs were hurting because I've been up and about, dancing, walking about. I barely stood still all night. And when you've gone out and you've had a bit of a night, things start coming back to you, don't they? Little details start leaking back through, don't they, in like the first hour that you're awake. And I suddenly remembered very, very clearly who it was I was talking to. And it was the store manager. The big boss, the top dog. Obviously there are people above him in head offices, but as far as our store goes, he was at the top. And it was him that I was chatting to, and I remembered telling him how much I hated the job, telling him that who I didn't like. And I remembered that I couldn't remember the rest of the conversation. And the colour must have drained from my face more than it already had. And I went, oh shit! I didn't know what I'd said. I had absolutely no fucking idea. I was trying to wrap my brain and oh no, it wouldn't come back. And do you know, to this day, it still hasn't come back. And I was due to go into work the day after that. And I went in the back to clock in and put my stuff in my locker. And I saw the store manager across the canteen. And he just smiled at me, just like, all right. And I was like, yeah. You? Oh no, he's going to call me. And I spent all day. It was the one time I wanted to be out on the car park, away from everybody. Because I had a couple of like grins from people, you know, walking past people in that where they were stacking the shelves or whatever. Oh, you had a good time the other night, didn't you? I was like, did I? Well, I went home alone, so it weren't that good. But no, anyway, yeah. To this day, I mean, the last thing I want to hear about is my drunken performance. You know, I don't mind hearing about it when a couple of months have passed, but, you know, the day after, a couple of days after, no, I don't really want to know. But someone did let slip that I'd done karaoke, I'd, you know, danced on not a table, on a chair, sorry, like a stool. You know, like one of those low bar stools, not a tall one, a low one. I got up on one of them and danced, and oh dear, all sorts was being revealed to me, but no one witnessed that conversation. The only people that witnessed that conversation outside were me and the store manager. And do you know what? He never took me into the office. I never seemed to get pulled up for it or anything like that, so I'm guessing it can't have been that bad. But to this day, I can't remember. And I left that job voluntarily as well. So, well, no, sorry, I was sacked, but I mean, it was unrelated. I mean, I sort of said, you know, they pulled me in for something different. It was pictures on social media, that was it. I think I've said it before, yeah. Pictures in uniform on social media, and people, apparently like that's against the rules, even though everybody else did it. I think they just wanted to get rid of me, you know, and to this day I still wonder sometimes, you know, did he hold out for like a year waiting for an excuse to get rid of me? Because obviously you can't just sack someone for no good reason. You need good reason, especially from a big company. So I think, you know, he just found the first opportunity he could to get rid. But that might just be me. But yeah, that was the oh shit moment. Waking up, realising that I'd been talking to the store manager and having no idea what I'd said. Apart from remembering that I'd slagged people off, said I hated the job. I might have slagged him off for all I knew, because I didn't know who I was talking to. You rarely saw him. I mean, I knew what he looked like, but outside, in the smoking area, in the dark, people in the normal clothes. Because, you know, he went to work in a suit. He was just out in normal clothes like everybody else was. And, oh, yeah, it's just so... Oh, yeah, that was the old shit moment. I mean, there was a bit of awkward chucked in there as well, and a little bit of embarrassing. But... you know, like I say, no fallout came from it. I mean, like I say, he probably did wait another year or so to find a random excuse to get rid of me. But I'll never know now. He doesn't even work there anymore. Apparently he left years ago. But he was a dick anyway. No one liked him. So I probably did reveal that I'd slagged him off or that no one liked him. So yeah. So there we go. There's today's selection. What do you think? Let me know. Also, let me know some of your awkward moments, because that's always fun, isn't it? And yeah, the other thing I should probably mention is that the topic matter for episode 2 has been put to your good selves, and there is a poll on that on my community tab at the minute, so feel free to go and vote on that if you haven't already. I can't remember exactly what it says word for word, so I'm not going to sit and read it out now, and I'm not going to put it on screen either, because I'm just using my, you know, video thing for this. But yeah, episode 2 will be on the way very soon, and it'll be something completely different. I'm going down a more serious route, you know, this time for episode 2. This is funny, this is going to give you guys a bit of a laugh. But yeah, I think for the second one, we're going to go down a more serious route. So yeah, there you have it. That's episode 1 done with. I hope you enjoyed it. I really did. I love being able to sit here talking without worrying. Because a lot of the times during reactions, you know, did I say this at the beginning? I think I did. I want to say it again. Yeah, when I'm doing reactions and I think, I get a story come to mind, I'm thinking, oh, I could tell that story. And then I look and think, no, because this reaction's going to be over an hour long. Because reactions, you know, they're meant to be, you know, I know a lot of you guys don't mind. I mean, you know, I get great views on my reactions, even though they're quite long. which is what made me do this. So, you know, you're clearly not fed up with the fact that I'm talking, so I thought I'd just do this as well as. But yeah, because of that, you know, there's so many stories I wanted to tell, and so I thought, you know, I could do it this way, and that's why we're here. So yeah, I think it's gone really well. You know, I think I made a good selection of stories for you all. I hope you've enjoyed them. I kind of enjoyed reliving them. It was a little bit awkward, but yeah. I wanted to tell more, but again, I don't want these videos to be too long. I mean, we're on 25 minutes now. That's roughly enough, you know, under half an hour, that's fine. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video, leave me a couple of comments below, let me know what you think. And also let me know if you want these to continue. You know, if you've enjoyed watching this, just listening to me gab on about stuff. If you want me to do more of this, just let me know, because, you know, I'm at least going to do episode 2. I've put it to the public now. So we'll see how this one goes, see how episode 2 goes, and we'll just see. Because again, apart from anything else, this is something quick for me to do, you know, of an afternoon where I've not got a lot of time. You know, if I've not got an hour to set aside to do a TV programme or whatever, then it's just a good way to do this kind of thing. And that's, my music reactions are good for that as well. A good music reaction that's under 15 minutes, that just helps kill a little bit of time. So yeah, it's just something else that I can do. So yeah, please feel free to comment below, let me know if you enjoyed this, and again, let me know your stories, because we've all got them, and it's good to share them. You know, life's a bad experience, isn't it? And we have to honour the bad experiences just as much as the good, because it's the bad ones that shape us more so into who we end up being than the good do. So yeah, to get that out there, you know, don't be ashamed. You know, we all do it, we all make mistakes, we all mess up. Talk about them, laugh about them, turn them on their head. Don't sit there, you know, quivering to yourself, hating this embarrassing moment. Embrace it and turn it to your advantage like I am now, because I'm betting this has given at least one of you a laugh. It's cheered somebody up today, I bet. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll be back for episode 2 very soon. Again, thank you to everyone that's waited so long for this, and yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the very, very next one. Okay, but in the meantime, take care of yourselves and have a nice day / night, depending when you are watching. Ta-ra.